Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we are going to solve Cambridge O-Level Chemistry Paper 2 Theory. For the session of May-June 2024, we have the subject code 5070 and the variant of this paper is 721. We have 1 hour 45 minutes for this paper and this paper is carrying 80 marks. So we're going to start our question paper from question number 1. Question number 1 is that choose from the following substances to answer the question. Okay, we have been given by the list of elements and compounds. Each substance can be used more than once and not at all. State which substance is a catalyst in the Haber process. We know that the catalyst used in the Haber process is iron. So we're going to write our answer here, iron. Has a joint covalent structure. We know that silicon dioxide and carbon has a joint structure, so you're gonna write both or either of it, silicon oxide or carbon. Moving to next part, changes from a blue solid to a white solid when it is heated. We know that it is hydrated copper sulfate and the water crystallization is removed, so it is, our answer is hydrated copper sulfate. Moving to next part, removes taste and odor during the treatment of the domestic water supply. We know that this is again carbon, so we can write over here carbon. Has the empirical formula CH2O. We know that that is glucose, that has the original formula of C6H12O6. so 6 is the common, so glucose has the empirical formula of CH2O. So that's how question number 1 is completed. Moving to question number 2. Question number 2 is that construct the symbol equation for this reaction. And the reaction is calcium carbide react with water to form a flammable gas ethine C2H2 and calcium hydroxide. So we know that calcium carbide has a formula of CaC2. And when it reacts with water, it produces C2H2 ethane gas and calcium hydroxide, and the calcium hydroxide has formula of CaOH whole twice. Now we need to balance. Calcium is balanced, carbon is balanced, hydrogen over here are 4 and over here the hydrogen is 2, so we're gonna write over 2. Now the oxygen and hydrogen both are balanced. Calcium carbide is ionic. Reduce the formula of the carbide ion. Carbide ion has a formula of C2 minus 2. Moving to C part. Figure 2.1 show the displayed formula of ethine. Ethine is unsaturated hydrocarbon. Unsaturated hydrocarbons are those that have double bond or triple bond in it. Within carbon and carbon atom. Explain why ethine is a hydrocarbon. Because it contains only carbon and hydrogen atom, that's why it is an hydrocarbon. Second part, suggest why ethine is unsaturated. Ethine contains a carbon-carbon triple bond and it does not form a single bond, that's why it is an unsaturated hydrocarbon. Moving to its third part. Third part is that aqueous bromine reacts with ethine. Predict the color change that happened during the reaction. During this reaction, color will change from orange to colorless. Again, this was very easy question. Moving to fourth part. Draw a dot and cross diagram to show the electronic configuration in the molecule, okay, of ethine. Show only the outer shell. We know that hydrogen has the 1 electron and carbon has 4 electrons, and this carbon has 4 electrons and this hydrogen has, so they would make 3 triple bond will be made, and one bond is shared with hydrogen, one bond is shared with hydrogen. So this is how we're gonna show the electronic configuration of the outer shell of ethyne. Okay, moving to question number 2, part D. The equation for the complete combustion of ethyne is shown. C2H2 plus 5O2 gives you 4CO2 plus 2H2. This is from the topic of chemical energetics. The reaction is exothermic. Explain using idea about bond breaking and bond making why the reaction is exothermic. We know that in endothermic reaction, energy is absorbed to break the bonds, and in exothermic, energy is released in making the bond. So in this reaction, more energy is released than absorbed. So that's why this is an exothermic reaction. Moving to the next part. Complete the reaction pathway diagram in figure 2.2. Okay. For the complete combustion of ethyne, label the reactant's product enthalpy change of the reaction delta H and activation energy EA. So this is a very famous question in which you have to draw energy profile diagram where you have to show reactants and products and activation energy and delta H. So we're gonna draw a line over here, and to show the reactants energy, we know that for exothermic reaction the reactant has more energy compared to product. So we're gonna draw the line for the product energy level below the reactant, and the difference between the peak point and the reactant is always activation energy. You can write in your notes that the difference between reactants and the highest peak is called activation energy, and the difference between products and reactants is the enthalpy change. You're gonna write reactants over here, you're gonna write products over here. We have been given the equations, so you can write the compounds in reactants and write the compounds of products in products. So this is how you're gonna get the 3 marks for this. This is an easy 3 marks. Sometime examiner asks you to draw endothermic reaction of the same energy profile, or sometime, like in this case, examiner asks exothermic. So this is how we have completed question number 2. Moving to question number 3. Question number 3 is that aqueous ammonium nitrate decomposes when heated to form nitrogen. NH4NO2 will produce N2 plus 2H2. At 25 centimeter cube, sample of 0.133 mole per decimeter cube NH4NO2 is completely decomposed. Calculate the volume of nitrogen formed, measure at room temperature and pressure. Give your answer in 2 significant figures. So you have to divide 25 by 1000. After dividing 25 by 1000, you would get 0.025 decimeter cube. Now we have been given the concentration. Concentration is this 0.133. You can calculate moles by multiplying concentration into volume. So the concentration is 0.025 and the volume is concentration is 0.133 and the volume is 0.025. After multiplying, you get the answer that is equal to 0.003325 moles. Now you can compare the mole ratio over here. Mole we have 1 from the balance, and over here nitrogen is 1, and if this is produced by ammonium nitrate 0.003325, same goes 0.003325. Now we have to calculate the volume, so we're gonna multiply this by molar volume. So multiplying this by 24 by molar volume, you get the volume of it, that is equal to 0.08 decimeter cube. So our answer will be 0.08 decimeter cube. So this was an easy and simple question of moles and concentration question. Moving to its B part. B part is that describe and explain the effect of increasing the temperature on the rate of reaction. Okay, if we increase the temperature, what would happen? When we increase the temperature, the particles get more excited, they vibrate more, they have more kinetic energy, so the chances of collision increases. So that's why the reaction moves towards the right and the rate is increased. So we're gonna write that rate increases because particles move faster, they will have more kinetic energy, so more successful collision will occur. Moving to part C. Part C is that describe and explain the effect of decreasing the concentration of ammonium nitrate on the rate of reaction. If we decrease the concentration of reactants, the rate will decrease definitely, and the particles have less chances to collide with others, so rate is decreased. So we're gonna write in our answer rate decreases because particles are less crowded, fewer particles per unit volume, so fewer collision per second will occur. Moving to its D part. D part is that one way to measure the pH of aqueous ammonium nitrate to use a pH meter. Okay, describe one other way to measure the pH of aqueous ammonium nitrate. By universal indicator, match the color with a pH color chart so you can find the pH without using a pH meter. So this was easy, 2 marks. So this is how we have completed question number 3. Question number 3 was simple. Moving to question number 4. Question number 4 is that potassium iodide Ki is an ionic solid composed of a lattice of potassium ions and iodide ion. Explain why potassium iodide has a high melting point. Because it is an ionic compound. In an ionic compound, strong attraction between positive and negative ions, so that's why it has a high melting point. Moving to B part, describe how potassium atoms and iodide molecules react to form potassium ions and iodide ions. Use idea about electron transfer. We know that two potassium, this is just for understanding, you don't need to write equation, but we know that two potassium atoms will react with iodine molecule and they will form two potassium iodide compound. So over here you can see that two potassium atoms lose one electron each and iodine molecules gain 2 electrons, so that's why they will form 2 Ki. Okay, so this is how you can write this simple explanation. Moving to the C part. C part is that predict the product at each electrode during the electrolysis of concentrated aqueous potassium iodide. We know that at anode iodine will produce and at cathode hydrogen will produce. Moving to its D part. D part is that aqueous potassium iodide react with aqueous acidified potassium magnate. Suggest the color change that happened during the reaction. So color change will take place like that. It will change purple to brown. So we're gonna write purple to brown. Moving to its E part. E part is that explain in terms. Okay, explain in terms for the reaction between aqueous potassium iodide and aqueous chlorine is shown. 2 iodide ion plus Cl2 reacts and I2 plus C2Cl minus 1. Explain in terms of electrons why this reaction involves the oxidation and reduction. You can explain in 2 ways, so I've written both ways. First way is that I minus 1 oxidized since it loses electron, and Cl2 is reduced because it gains electrons. So you can write one explanation, and you can write other explanation for getting 2 marks is that I minus 1, we know that it has an oxidation number minus 1, but its oxidation number increases over here to 0, so it is an oxidation and its oxidation number decreases from 0 to minus 1, so its and decreasing oxidation number means reducing. So this is an example of oxidation reduction. You can write either of explanation, you can get 2 marks for it. Okay, moving to question number 5. Question number 5 is that when a sample of zinc sulfate is heated in a closed system, an equilibrium mixture is formed. You can see from the reaction zinc sulfide, not zinc sulfate, zinc sulfide, ZnSO3. Zinc sulfate has a formula of zinc, ZnSO4. It's a reversible reaction. Zinc oxide and sulfur dioxide is produced. The forward reaction is endothermic. Part A. The temperature of the closed system is increased and the pressure is kept constant. Predict how the position of equilibrium of this reaction is affected. Explain your answer. Position of equilibrium moves towards the light because to absorb thermal energy, because it is an endothermic reaction. In endothermic reaction, energy is absorbed from the surrounding. Moving to part B. Part B is that the pressure of the closed system is decreased and the temperature is kept constant. Okay, predict how the position of equilibrium of this reaction is affected. Explain your answer. So we can write that position of equilibrium moves to the right. It means that we have more moles of the gas on the product side because we have decreased the pressure. Moving to part C. Part C is that calculate the maximum mass of zinc oxide that can be made from 25.5 gram of zinc sulfide. So I'm writing again the equation that is given in the start of the question, that is zinc sulfide ZnSO3 would give us zinc oxide and sulfur dioxide. We have been given in this question that the mass of zinc sulfide is 25.5 grams and we need to find the mass of zinc oxide. So first we're gonna calculate the moles by dividing its mass to the molar mass. Zinc has 65, sulfur has 32 and oxygen has 16 into 3, 48. So after dividing it we get the moles that is equal to 0.1759. Now we need to compare from the balanced chemical equation. It has 1 mole, then it has 1 mole, then it has 0.1759, it has also 0.1759. Now you need to get the mass. You can get the mass by multiplying this to its molar mass. What would be the molar mass of zinc oxide? It would be 65 of zinc and plus 16 of oxygen. So after multiplying it you get the answer 14.2448 gram. 14.2448 grams. So this is how you have done the reaction. Okay, again this was a simple question of moles that was carrying 3 marks. So moles is a favorite topic from this paper. We can expect examiner is asking. This was the second 3-mark question from the examiner. Let's see how many will come. Okay, moving to part D. Zinc oxide reacts with both aqueous sodium hydroxide and dilute hydrochloric acid. But sulfur dioxide only react with aqueous sodium hydroxide. Explain why. We know that zinc oxide is amphoteric oxide, so it can react with base and acid both. But sulfur dioxide is acidic oxide. That's why it reacts with only sodium or hydroxide, not with hydrochloric acid. So this is the simple explanation. Zinc oxide is amphoteric oxide and sulfur dioxide is acidic oxide. Moving to part E. Part E is that solid zinc sulfide reacts with dilute nitric acid to give sulfur dioxide gas and aqueous zinc salt and a colorless liquid. Construct the symbol equation for this reaction. Include state symbol. We know that this is the formula of zinc sulfide, ZnSO3, and we know that this is the formula of nitric acid, HNO3, and zinc nitrate is produced, ZnNO3 whole twice, then water, and then sulfur dioxide. Now we can balance. We need hydrogen. We have 2 over here, so we're gonna write 2 over here. Now every element is balanced. You can count. Oxygen has 3, 2, 3, 6, 6 plus 3, 9, and over here you can see 3, 2, 6, 6 plus 1, 7, 7 plus 2, 9, and all other elements are balanced as well. So you need to write the state as well, and the state symbol for this reaction is zinc sulfide is taken in the solid, nitric acid is in the aqueous form, zinc nitrate is also formed in the aqueous, and water is in the form of liquid, and SO2 is a gas. Moving to question number 6. Question number 6 is that carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas that is linked to increased global warming. Describe one adverse effect of increased global warming. Nowadays, everyone is a victim of global warming, especially the smoke and on all the toxic gases that are generated. So the one adverse effect of this global warming is climate change. Part B. Describe how carbon dioxide causes global warming. We know that carbon dioxide absorbs thermal energy from the earth, so that's why the temperature is increasing day by day, and reflection of thermal energy back to the earth, it reduces the loss of thermal energy into the space. So our earth is in the result getting warmer. Moving to part C. Photosynthesis remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Write the word equation for the photosynthesis. Carbon dioxide plus water will produce glucose plus oxygen. This is the equation that you are learning from class 5 or class 6. This is a famous equation of photosynthesis. Part 2. Describe the condition that needed for photosynthesis. We know that photosynthesis only takes place in the presence of chlorophyll and the light energy, or in the presence of sunlight. Moving to part D. Explain one strategy to reduce the global warming caused by carbon dioxide. Simply, you can reduce the use of the fossil fuel, and you can become less dependent on non-renewable energy resources like fuel, and planting is also, afforestation is also. So you can write decrease the use of fossil fuel, or you can use more renewable energy, or you can write plant more trees. Any one answer you can write, any one line would be considered fully. Okay, moving to question number 7. Chlorine is a gas at room temperature. Iodine is a solid at room temperature. A sample that has a volume of 240 centimeter cube at room temperature and pressure. The pressure of the sample is increased at room temperature. Describe and explain in terms of kinetic particle theory what happens to the volume of the sample. Okay, its volume decreases and particles move close to each other. When the volume decreases, actually they have the less space, so the particle distance decreases and move closer to it with each other. So the distance between particles also decreases. So this was a simple question. Now question number 7, part B. When heated at atmospheric pressure, iodine changes directly into a gas without becoming a liquid. Describe the changes in the particle separation arrangement and motion during this change. This is the example of sublimation. Separation, particles move apart. Arrangement, they tend from order to become random because they are coming into the gaseous state. Motion, vibrating to moving from one place to another. Okay, part C. Part C is that at the same temperature and pressure, the rate of diffusion of chlorine gas is greater than that of iodine gas. Explain. We know that chlorine has a lower molecular mass than iodine, so that's why the rate of diffusion in case of chlorine is much higher compared to iodine, because rate of diffusion is inversely proportional to the mass of or atomic mass of the gases. Moving to part D, the symbol of an iodide ion is shown. Complete 7.1 table about this iodide ion. I minus 126 and 53 electrons. We can calculate because it has lost an electrons of 53 plus 1 would be 54. Okay, number of neutrons. It will have number of neutrons because it has gained the electrons, so that's why it is. We can calculate the neutron by subtracting atomic mass to atomic number, that is 126 minus 53, we get the 73, and simply proton is the atomic number, that is equal to 53. So this was an easy 3 mark in this paper again. Moving to question number 8. Question number 8 is from the topic of organic chemistry. Figure 8.1 shows Figure 8.1 is a flow diagram showing information about some organic chemical reaction. A this is propanol ester with acid catalyst, ester B at B, and C is propanoic acid in the presence of potassium permanganate and sulfuric acid. Then propanoic acid reacts with magnesium carbonate, it will produce D gas, and E and water, and with magnesium propanoic acid will produce D and gas F, and with ethanol and acetic acid it will produce ester G. Question number A. Compound A is one of the structured isomers of the alcohols with molecular formula of C3H8O. Okay, state the name of compound A. So the name of compound A would be propane 1-ol. Okay, moving to second part, draw the displayed formula of the ester that had a structure formula of C3H8NO. That is an alcohol. We know that we can write CCC and HHH and HOH and H. Because this was C3, so first I have write C and make a single bond with them, and rest of it I have completed with hydrogen, and over here I have written OH. Moving to B part, draw the displayed formula of ester B. Ester is formed from the ethanoic acid or acetic acid and propanol. So over here hydrogen is replaced by carbon. So this is how the bond is formed: CH3 COO CH2 CH2 and CH3. So this is how we have draw the structure of ester B. This is the composition of acetic acid and propanol. Now how this is formed: this OH is replaced by this hydrogen and water is formed, and rest of bonding are attached over here. Moving to C part, draw the structure formula of propanoic acid. The structure formula of the propanoic acid is CH3CH2COOH. I have also drawn the displayed formula, and that is equal to CH3CH2COOH. Part D. State the name and formula of the compound D. We know that compound D is from the propanoic acid to magnesium carbonate. It would be magnesium propanoate, and its formula would be MgCH3COO whole twice. It is formed between CH3CH2COO minus 1 and Mg plus 2. So this is how, or I can write to show you, it is formed like that: Mg plus 2 and CH3 CH2 and COO negative. So they both made the formula. Okay, part D. State the name of gas E and gas F. Gas E and gas F. Okay, we know that when any acid react with carbonate, we know that carbon dioxide is formed. When acid react with metal, hydrogen gas is formed. So you can write carbon dioxide and hydrogen gas. Okay, so this was an easy question. State the name of ester G. Ester G would be ethyl, because it reacts with ethanol, and propanoic acid, so ethyl propanate. Okay, moving to last question, question number 9. Polymers are made by either addition or condensation reaction. This reaction is this example is a very famous example. Examiner tend to ask the question about addition and condensation reaction. Describe the difference between addition and condensation reaction. We can write addition polymerization involves monomers joining together with no other product is formed. And you can write in case of condensation, polymerization involves monomer joining together with the formation of single molecule. PET is a condensation polymer. Name the type of linkage that bonds the repeat unit to one another in PET. And we can know that it is ester, ESTER. Part C, a polymer contains 47.1% carbon, 6.5% hydrogen, 46.4% chlorine by mass. Calculate the empirical formula of this polymer. So this is a simple question. You can calculate like that: carbon, hydrogen and chlorine. You can write their percentages, that is equal to 47.1, 6.5 and 46.4. now you need to divide them by their atomic masses. 47.1 divided by 2, 12, 6.5 divided by 1, 46.4 divided by 35.5. So you can get the answer, that is equal to 3.93, 6.5 and 1.31. now 1.31 is the least one, so you need to divide them by I am dividing over here 3.93 by 1.31 and 6.5 divided by 1.31 and 1.31 divided by 1.31. so you get the answer, that is equal to 3, 5 and 1. so the formula, empirical formula, is C3 hydrogen 5 and chlorine 1, C3H5Cl. so this is the empirical formula of part C. Now the last part of last question, D. Plastics are made from polymers. Again, this is a repeated question. Describe two environmental challenges caused by plastic: formation of toxic gases due to burning and accumulation of plastic in oceans that would destroy the aquatic life. So this is how we have done our question paper. If you do have any queries in this paper or regarding any question that you need to explain further, you can ask in the comment section. Do not forget to subscribe this channel. Also like this video, share with your friends and community who need support in chemistry and other subjects as well. Thank you so much for the supporting this channel and watching this video. Allah Hafiz.